Well, there's nowhere like the Royal Albert Hall. You know, it's their 150-year anniversary this year, and there's not, for me, there's no venue like it in London. It's like a posh York Hall. You're right on top of the action. It's not a bad seat in the house, and you think about the history of the Albert Hall and the fighters, all the great British fighters, and lots of great fighters from around the world who've boxed there. So, you know, I love it. I love the history of it all, and I love the fact that we got two great fighters here headlining the bill, and the other guys that the other fighters. It's going to be a good night. It's going to be a really good, I think, explosive night. And I think you got in the two fights with Lyndon and Anthony. They're both fighting undefeated fighters. It's very important for them to come through this and do the business, because they'll be facing each other in the autumn if they come through. So a lot depends on this for these two guys. Lyndon is currently ranked #1 in the WBO. He's a mandatory challenger. So that spot, that #1 spot, is there, and is there for these two guys in the autumn to duke it out and see who's going to move forward. And I can't wait for that. But first, they've got to get through these two fighters who, as I say, are undefeated. And undefeated fighters, you never know where you are. They're both punchers, Faraci and Atra. So they're going to have to focus on this. They can't afford to be complacent. Move forward. I hope we set a big fight up.
What's the ticket situation here? So.
Well, we had a bit of a disappointment last night with Prime Minister said last night that them pushing it back, I think, to July the 21st now, before they open up the venues. Yet they're allowing Wimbledon on the 10th of July to have full capacity, and they're doing, I think, 50% capacity in the Euro matches around that time. So we are lobbying and speaking to the government department, the culture department, with regards to making the event a test event and allowing us full capacity. Mm-hmm. Because if not, it's going to be a problem for us, because we obviously, like everybody thought, was all going to be up and running. And if we're only allowed 1,000 people in there, that's not going to make a lot of economic sense. So we've got a bit of fight on our hands as well behind the scenes. But hopefully they'll treat boxing like they treat other sports and allow us to do this as a test event.
All right, well, still, get hold of your tickets now while you can. It's royalalberthall.com. Anthony Yarde, I'm going to come to you first. You had a very difficult 2020, made no secret of that, and you started off 2021 with a break that you deserved. You went out to Mexico. I followed you on social media. I followed some of the interviews that you did. It looked like it was a case of recharging, rejuvenating it, and maybe even reawakening the beast. Is that fair?
Yeah, very fair to say. First of all, thanks to everyone for coming. But exactly what you said, resetting, getting my mind right. Because again, your body can be right, but if your mind ain't right, you can come unstuck. So I had to get my mind right. I had to take the little break, make sure my family was okay, and then came back and went back to work.
And is your mind right now?
My mind's good.
You're in a good place. You had a lot of honest conversations with yourself,
yes,
with your team, and that led to a new lion in the camp. James Cook has joined the camp. Tell us about that.
Again, James is a good friend, and it was not only was it right in terms of convenience, meaning he's close, like he's not too far, he's not in other training camps, etc. Because for me, it's about availability. It's about communication, it's about energy within the camp. Sunday and James know each other as well. And again, he's an MBE, very respected in boxing. And he's a second eye. So it's been very good.
So with these additional eyes, so far, you've only been together for a couple of months, I believe. Do you feel that he has added to the camp?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Again, James, he can be very quiet and then give his little opinion here and there, which is what I need. Tony got a lot of stick. I got a lot of stick as well. But you can never ever forget how you got something. And I'm a person that's built on, you can call it loyalty, but I like the storyline. So yeah, you know, when you get to the top of the mountain, it's a better celebration.
The harder the climb, the better the view, they say.
Exactly.
You were meant to fight Emin Atra back in April, and the fight was postponed because you had an abscess.
Yeah.
All good now?
Yeah, it's good now. It was painful, but all good now.
Was that frustrating at the time, or did it?
It was. You know, they say sometimes things happen for a reason, but I was not going into that fight with the pain I was in. I was advised by the dentist as well. The dentist laughed at me when I said I had a fight coming up. Antibiotics with them kind of thing. So again, it got postponed, but we're here now. That's what I'm focused on.
We're here now. Listen, one of the things you said after the Lyndon Arthur fight was that it's the same thing that happened to you in the amateurs. You feel as though you can't leave things to the judges.
Yeah.
Will the judges be needed when you take on Emin Atra at the Royal Albert Hall?
No, hopefully not. You know, everyone knows me. My style is for entertainment. I'm so happy there's a crowd back, fans and, you know, people making noise. Having a hollow arena, it's different. Yeah, I won't really do the knockout talk thing. It's more of action. So I'm looking forward to get back in the ring. And yeah, July 10th, it's very important that everyone tunes in.
Do you think you were hindered by not having fans there? You had a couple of fights behind closed doors, obviously. Dex Spellman, Lyndon Arthur.
I wouldn't say hindered. It's just very different. Something to adjust to. But yeah, I'm just very happy that the crowd's back. So we can get some noise and some atmosphere in there.
We look forward to it. Thanks, Anthony. Lyndon, so, Mr. Headline, this is your show. I see you on the TV every week now, BT Sport Pundit. Do you feel as though you're on that upward trajectory? Everything's heading the right way for Lyndon Arthur?
So. Getting there.
How's the hand?
It's alright. I'm throwing it in sparring also.
So you had to have an operation on it after?
I did.
Okay. So what sort of percentage? Are you going to give me a percentage as to how good your hand is heading into this?
I can throw it without pain, so.
That's good. That's a good place to be. You've crept into the top 10 with the Ring magazine. You are #1 with the WBO in the light heavyweight division. Do you feel as though a world title is within reach now?
That's what the numbers say, innit?
That's what the numbers say.
It should be, shouldn't it?
Well, the thing is, because I've heard a couple of your interviews, you've talked about how you're actually attracted by the British title too, and if that comes, great. But also the world title. Do you feel you're ready for a world title shot now, or do you want a couple more fights?
I'll only find out when I fight for the world title. You know, I believe I am. I've always said I believe it was 10 years ago, so it made no difference whether it's now or then. You know what I mean? I want to fight for a world title, so.
When you see Joe Smith, he's the WBO world light heavyweight champion.
Target on his back, I know.
Big target on his back. Is that a target that you're looking to do some damage on?
I'd like to.
How would you see a fight with yourself and Joe Smith going?
I think I'll beat him, obviously. That's what I'm fighting for.
Yeah.
Silly question.
Okay, but how would you beat him? Is your jab just so much of a key in that fight?
I just think I'm better than him. I'm not supposed to stand up here and say that if he beat me, am I?
Absolutely not.
Exactly. So.
Absolutely not. Well, let's talk about Davide Faraci then. Obviously, you know, Joe Smith's got a target on his back, but so have you. You're #1 with the WBO. You've got all this momentum going with you. You can't be flat against Faraci. Do you feel that there's a bit of pressure now to perform?
No. I just got to go in there and do what I'm supposed to do. And what I'm supposed to do will be enough against Faraci, I believe. So.
The most chilled man in the room. As always. Frank, so obviously you've put the fellas on the same card. You've talked earlier about the rematch. You've done this so many times throughout the years. I remember seeing Tyson Fury, Derek Chisora on the same show. You've done it with Dubois and Joyce. Is that what you're pushing for here, a rematch later in the year?
Well, no, both the guys have agreed to it. That will happen. But as I say, they've got to just focus on this week. You know, Lyndon's fighting, as you said, he's fighting Faraci, he's the Italian light heavyweight champion. And he's used to fighting abroad. He's fought in Germany, he's fought in, I think, Italy, various other places. So he's, you know, he's coming to fight. He's got a spot that everyone wants. Lyndon's #1, and everyone wants that. They can get in that spot. They know that they're going to get a crack at the world title. So he's got to be top of his game. And it's the same Anthony. Again, an undefeated fighter, and they all know what it means. They come here, they know that by beating either of these guys, they get themselves into the big time, and that's what they'll do. So they just can't afford to slip up against either of these these undefeated fighters that they're going to be facing.
Yeah, 100%. It's no slip-ups afforded. Anthony, I wanted to ask you something. After the fight with Lyndon Arthur, initially, obviously, you were fuming at the time. You said that you didn't count that fight as a loss. As we stand here today, do you count that fight as a loss?
Well, on paper, 100% it's a loss, and it's something I had to learn from. Again, people, they like to pick out things you say. Sometimes you have to be careful what you say on camera, but again, I interviewed straight after the fight, and of course I'm going to be heated. I've just lost a split decision. One judge had it wide to me, and then the other two judges had it in Lyndon Arthur's favour. I congratulated him as well, because again, I'm one of them people. I ain't got no hate in my body. I'm happy for him. I was at that #1 spot as well, and now he's experiencing it and he's headlining and things like that. I'm happy for him. But at the same time, just before it was business, this time it's business again, but I've learnt my lesson.
Initially, again, after the fight, 'cause I'm going back to that because there was a lot of interviews out there, you said that you felt it was a robbery, but more recently you've said it's not, it wasn't a robbery. So what have you seen, having watched it back, that makes you think it wasn't a robbery?
If you listen to what I said, again, this is what I mean about twisting words. I said, I don't like to scream the word robbery. I didn't say it was a robbery. I said, I don't like to scream the word robbery. At the moment in time, I felt as if I won the fight. And again, there's nothing against judges, there's nothing, anything like that. I didn't do my job. That's it. At the time, I felt like it was clear. But then when I watched it back, you see another angle. You see other perspectives and how other people see it. So again, it's all a learning game.
Lyndon, do you want to fight Anthony again? Do you want to just dispel any? It was a split decision. You got the nod. Do you want to do it again at any point?
I'm a fighter. If it happens, it happens. And I believe I'll win again.
I think you mentioned that you felt as though you won the fight easily, 4 rounds at least.
Yeah.
What would you do anything differently if you were to fight again?
I'd adapt to the situation as a fighter.
Obviously, the hand as well that you mentioned as well, with a fully functioning, 2 fully functioning hands. How would Lyndon Arthur do against Anthony Yarde?
I would adapt to the situation as a fighter. That's what I would do.
Do you know something? That fight's gone. It's done. It's a matter of record. What happened? It's a fact. Lyndon's ranked #1. They're facts. That's all that matters. What matters now is their next fight, their next fights, and they got to get through those, and then they can get back to business with each other afterwards. But all they need to be focusing on is what is happening on the 10th of July. That is so important to both of them, and not to look beyond that. And I don't think either of their trainers, Tunde or Pat, will even allow that to happen. That's what they've got to focus on, not slipping up.
Well, Anthony, are you looking to make a statement on July 10th against Emin Atra, unbeaten foe in front of you?
I'm always looking to make a statement. It's boxing. You're not going to go in there and try to look mediocre or anything like that. So, as Frank said, right now I'm only focused on the opponent I have on July 10th.
And Lyndon, I'd imagine you two are only focused on Davide Faraci. What is the plan? What's going to happen in there on July 10th at the Royal Albert Hall?
I'm going to beat him.
Yeah. Any knockout?
I'm going to beat him.
Lyndon Arthur's going to win. Anthony Yarde believes he's going to win. Frank, any closing words ahead of July 10th? Why should people be clamouring to buy tickets to get along to this event? Because
there's a lot on the line, and nobody more than me will want them both to win. You know, we both want to see them win. Because I tell you what, I want to see them back in again, and I want to see that. And, you know, and there's always a winner and a loser. But winners, losers, you can still go on. The loser can still go on and win a world title. It's been done. We see it with James DeGale. We see it with George Groves. It's not the end of the world for either fighter if they're good quality fighters, and they're both good quality fighters. So anyway, let's get this one out of the way. Albert Hall is a fantastic card. Great show. Really good good youngsters on the card. I'm really looking forward to seeing Zach back in action again. I thought he had a stunning debut for us, and he certainly impressed me as he impressed everybody else. And Archie, back in action, and Dennis and Mohammed, all the guys. I want to just see them all back in there doing the business.
Also, there was meant to be our man Callum Johnson, new Queensbury signing. He was meant to be on the show. He's here today as well.
Yes.
Where does he fit into the light heavyweight mix?
He's going to be out sometime, fingers crossed, in August. He banged his hand up, otherwise he'd have been on the card. We had the three of them on, but not to be. But he was in a bit of a... It weren't a boring fight, was it, the last one? I think there's a bit of action in there. Everybody loved it. It was... put me on the edge of my seat. So he'll be back in action, and he'll be in the mix with all this. These are exciting times for the British light heavyweight division. And you've got Buatsi out there. There's some great fights to be made if we can get some cooperation. We do make the fights. So if we get a bit of cooperation, if you want to get a bit of exposure where you're actually going to be seen there on a TV channel, there's a place to be.
This is the place to be. Anthony, thank you. Lyndon, thank you. Frank, thank you. And July 10th, Royal Albert Hall, live on BT Sport. Go to royalalberthall.com, get some tickets while you can. They're available at £50, £75 and £100. Thank you for joining us.